We're live. We're live. Carl Shorell here in the flesh, one half of Cartalk TV. We got Larry, Wheelz by Larry on here. He's going to be coming in joining us for this live session. It's going to be amazing. We got a good 60 minutes ahead of us. He got a lot to say. Guys. So, y'all definitely tune in. E-Vapor's in here. What's up, my guy? Man, I've known him since maybe 2008, 2009. And, we became cool just in the car scene, just in the car world of Baltimore. He's from out of Annapolis, but he came and brought some crazy flavor to the car game of Baltimore. And that's how myself and Larry met. I'm not going to tell his story. He got an amazing story that's going to be crazy. But he worked his way up in the car game from just hooking up cars to working at car shops, customizing cars as a job, to owning his own business, which is amazing. What's up? Yeah, we got a couple folks in here. The story is crazy. He's gonna be dropping some stuff that of course myself I don't know about. And I just can't wait to have him on, and it's definitely a pleasure to have him on as well, to tell his story, to share it first, here on Cartalk TV. We're gonna try to continue to bring on some interesting people in the business world, in the car world, entrepreneurship. Our goal was really just to motivate, motivate, and let me pin this right quick. Pin, yeah, appreciate that, E-Vapors. But our goal is to, motivate, share our stories, put our stories out there, and hopefully have that chance to motivate somebody that's looking for that next level that they're trying to reach to. Wheelz by Larry in here. He got a lot to say, so without further ado, let me bring him on now. Let's bring him on right now. Wheelz by Larry in the building. Let's get it. Let's go. Waiting for that connection, baby. And we going live. While we waiting, man, he had some serious cars back in the day. He had a crazy bubble caprice. It was like a Sprite can, green and blue. That was stupid crazy. Back in like 2011, 2012, he had a crazy BMW 5 Series with the Forgiatos on there, tucking. That thing was crazy. Man, let's see what's up with this connection. Y'all know how Instagram is. You say you sent the request? All right, let's do that. I'm gonna send you another. I sent you a request, Larry. So just accept the request that I sent.
What's up, bro?
Oh man, my God, what's up, man? How you been?
Good, man. No complaints, man. Just out here living.
You looking good, brother.
Appreciate it, bro. Same for you, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm in a good place.
Yeah,
I'm in a good place. Good space of mind. And just like you want to tell your story. I feel like, hey, look, it's time for me to tell my story, and really take people along with the journey. Because just like yourself, think about if you started your journey back when you first started the car club. First started the car club days and following up to where you at now and where you gonna be. So yeah. That's how I thought. Like, man, I kind of missed out on telling my pieces of the story. I mean, I got little videos here and there, but really had people along with the journey, to be along with that process. But man, forget me talking. We got Larry, Wheelz by Larry in the building. Let's kick it off right at the top. How did you get your start? Where did you come from? Who are you? Give us a quick 5 minutes. Go ahead, kick it off, man. It's all you. It's all you. The floor is yours.
Well, yeah, man. I spent the better part of my life in Glen Burnie, Maryland. most of my years. I'm originally from a small county, well, Calvert County, Maryland. Spent a part of my life in Baltimore. That's when I was heavy in the car club stuff. But for most of the part, I'm from Glen Burnie, Maryland. Um, yeah, man, I've been hooking up cars since high school. Back at the Boulevard days in PG County. A lot of people probably know about like the Largo nights on Friday nights at the Boulevard. That's when I kind of first got my start when I was in high school. But since then, man, all throughout college hooking up cars. I got into the car club scene in Baltimore. Um, Realized I wanted to open up a shop, and I literally went from sweeping floors for free at a shop to owning my own shop and then owning my own wheel line.
Cool, cool.
So
Now, let's get into that a little bit. So, I met you roughly, what, 08, 2009?
I would say '09. It's probably late '08, '09.
Okay, late 08, '09. This is when, we was doing like doing the 24s on the old schools real heavy in Baltimore. You had the Caprice. It was green and blue. I remember it like yesterday. Crazy
Yeah,
paint on it. So
my favorite car ever, man.
yeah, man. Tell us a little bit about your passion behind that car. Why did you build that car? Why did you want to get into the car world? And what transpired after that to lead up to where you are today?
Well, like I said, when I was in the Boulevard and like going to Friday night car clubs, it was a Impala and Caprice car club called the DC Inc. So I was kind of in with those guys, and when I ended up at Morgan State University going to college, I had ended up getting another Caprice. And a lot of people in Baltimore didn't know, but that was my second Caprice. That wasn't my first one. So I was online looking for like a Baltimore car club or something like that, and I found the Be More Inc., which was also ran by the same guy who ran Bowtie Boys, which was Eric B. Easy Randall. So I linked up with him. I actually met him at a paint shop because my car was trash. The bumper had not the bumper, the fender had a dent in it and all types of crazy stuff. But like I said, it was my second one, so I already had like a plan of exactly what I was going to do to it. So I met Easy at the paint shop. Shout out to Easy. And I can just remember him like going around my car and like looking at it. And he was like, yeah, we can do this, we can do that. And in my mind, I'm like, bro, you don't even know. I already did this before. Like, I already know exactly what I'm about to do. But yeah, that car pretty much got me put out of college twice, just because I was going to work instead of going to school for classes, just so I could hook my car up. I was living paycheck to paycheck hooking that car up. I did the math on it one time, and it was somewhere between like 50 to 60 grand I had put into that car. But it was like literally just doing the same thing over and over again, doing little pieces over and over again. I think that car got painted like 5 times. But in the end, man, it was shaved door handle, shaved trunk lid, full custom paint job, lowered on 22s, full body kit, full suede interior. I had a Day from Rim Source. He put a 12-inch screen fiberglass to the dash. The bottom half was painted the same color as the car. So yeah, it was cool. I had the whole Impala interior, center console, everything. Yeah, that was my baby.
Yeah. That's super dope, super dope. So a part of your story, and this is something that I knew even before the live session, that your background, your career wasn't in automotive.
Nah,
Like,
not at all.
to automotive, and you was working at a job and you left the job. Like, man, you gotta give us that, man. You gotta give us the gems of as far as that, man. That's part of your journey, as far as entrepreneurship and taking that leap of faith.
Yeah. So what I would say to start that off is like, man, success is kind of like when you find your passion, something that you love to do, where it's not work every day, and you work towards that instead of just doing something for the money, it just changes the whole outcome of your life. So yeah, I was always just trying to get money in the beginning. Like I said, I got put out of college because I was working so much trying to hook my car up. I ended up trying to get into like the mortgage field. This was like 2008. I was working at a mortgage company in Owens Mills. And one of my managers actually came in and gave me a card for Morgan State. And he's like, bro, like the mortgage industry is about to die. You need to figure something out. Like, I don't know what you're going to do, but here, go to Morgan State. My guy's going to walk you in through the door or whatever. So yeah, that's how I ended up getting into Morgan State. Same thing happened though. I started hooking my car up, stopped going to work. I got that Caprice, the second Caprice. And finally I got put out of school again. And I was working at Comcast at the time. And we were doing like where go around and knock on doors and ask people to beg for service. I used to hate doing it, man. So what we did was figure out a way to fly apartment buildings. and we used to fly all the apartment buildings, and people would just call us. I would get like 2 or 3 sales a day, go in, turn in 3 pieces of paper, and make $150 per sale. But Comcast figured out what we were doing. They were like, well, shoot, the people in the apartment buildings, they got to get Comcast anyway, so y'all stealing sales from us. We paying y'all for nothing. So they shut our whole department down. They were about to put me inside of Best Buy. And I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. I hated begging people to get service anyway. That really wasn't, I didn't like Comcast enough to be a salesperson for it. And so I went home. This was around the time Kevin from RimSource was killing it. Like, RimSource is everything. They were one of our sponsors in the car clubs, and me and Rashad was super, super cool. Rashad works at RimSource. So I went to him one day. I think we were picking Kevin up from the airport. He was coming back from Miami, and we were sitting at the airport. And I was like, bro, I want to work at RimSource. I really wanted to work at RimSource because I knew I wanted my own shop. I knew I had to work at RimSource in order to get my own shop. He's like, bro, you can't work here. Like, you got to find something smaller, a small shop, and start from there. You don't know nothing about the game. Yeah, you can hook a car, but it's a lot of stuff on the inside that you got to know. So I'm like, all right, I figured something out. So I went home that day. I was talking to my friend at the time, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own shop. I'm going to get to working at RimSource, but I'm going to have to start at a small shop. And that friend, they like laughed at me like hysterically, like I was freaking Kevin Hart on stage. So that like hurt my confidence, but I knew I had to just keep going. And I went to a shop around the corner from my mother's house, Elite Auto Image. And I basically told the guy, like, look, man, I work for free. I just want to learn the game. And he said, all right. I started working. I was there for like 3 months. And because I knew everybody in the car club scene, and some people have been watching me on Facebook, I did like 15 grand in sales in like the first 3 months of me being there. But some stuff had ended up happening. I ended up leaving, and I was actually going to quit the car game again. I was like, man, I'm done. I'm going to go back to school and figure something out. I moved with my father. Get to my father's house. The dude that owned the shop down the street from my father, the biggest shop in Calvert County, his name's Tony. Shout out to Tony, super cool dude. He had a Hummer on 30s. He moved right next door to my father that same day. So I'm like, bro, this got to be God. Like, it got to be God. So I went to his shop and asked him for a job. And long story short, he ended up giving me a job. And that's where I learned all the fundamentals of the game, how to mount and balance, how to call distributors. I got to attend my first couple car shows. Because even with my car, I'd never done a car show with my car. And that was crazy. Like, as many car shows I've been to, as many times I was in the car clubs. So while working at Tony's shop, that's where I learned all that. I did the car shows. And crazy story, I was still hooking my car up at the time. I had my Caprice. And I found a set of MHT, some 3-piece wheels in New York. So I'm like, man, I'm going to go up there and get these wheels. It's like middle of the night. I hop in the truck. I get my friend at the time. I get her. We ride to New York, pick up the wheels. On the way back from New York, mind you, this is probably like a year after I told somebody I was about to work at RimSource, and they laughed at me. I'm in the car. On the way back down the road from getting the wheels, I get a phone call from Rashad like, yo, Kevin want to know if you want to come to work tomorrow. And that's how I started at RimSource.
Now, to set the scene up, guys, who's not familiar with RimSource Motorsports. RimSource Motorsports is one of the largest distributors, if not on the East Coast, in the country. Like, they got hundreds of sets of Forgiatos, and they're shipping them all across the country. Those who are not familiar with Forgiatos, typically when you are trying to get a set, they custom build them from scratch to your car, to your specs. And it could take, how long, Larry? What, 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, it's like 6 to 8 weeks when you normally get a set built. But Kevin killed the game because he had it all in stock, and you could get it the same day. Yeah.
So if you don't want to wait 2 months, get your boy Kev up, and he gets you right there.
The greatest ever.
Yeah, he's definitely the GOAT. He's definitely the GOAT, man. So, you know, that's your start. Business-wise, take me back a little bit before. What was your first hustle? Like, you know, and how old were you? Were you a teenager? Were you in elementary school hustling pencils and crayons or drawings or something like that? Or, you know, selling candy? Because entrepreneurs, like real thoroughbred entrepreneurs, it doesn't just start when you're as an adult. It normally something transpired when you was younger, and it's normally embedded in your DNA. Yeah. So tell me, what's your first hustle?
I would probably say, this is going to sound wild, but it's probably Pokemon cards, man. Like I was,
Pokemon
yeah,
cards.
we had figured out, like me and my brother, we had figured out like a couple antique stores that was selling like Chinese ones and stuff like that that nobody else had. So like getting those and riding my bike to the card place and selling them back to them. All you want to do was get a Charizard. If you had a Charizard, that was like $1.25 right there. So that was one.
$1.25 or 125?
125, yeah, $125 for a Charizard card. So that was probably my first hustle. Then once I got a little older, um, I had my first business that I ever started running was a mobile audio and video business. So like literally I would just drive around and go to people's houses and put their radios in their cars, running wires, all kind of crazy. I knew how to make it work though. But that was my first business. I did that when I was in college. Me, one of my boys, Malcolm, my best friend, me and him, he used to ride with me and we used to go put stuff in. We'd go to Virginia. I remember one time we was putting this dude's system in and his wife came home in the middle of it. And like she flipped out on him because he like spent so much money and she didn't know. And like after that, I quit. Like I just was like, all right, I'm gonna figure something out. But yeah, that was my first hustle. Yeah, as far as I can think, that was it.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
I was always like trying to do stuff. Then I did some graphic design stuff. I did a lot of graphic design, even in Baltimore. Be Easy, some of the car club stuff I did. A lot of logos and stuff. Even in the street ball world, like I did a couple flyers for some street ball guys. I was heavy into street basketball, like N1 basketball. One of my best friends, he played for N1, and he was actually the guy that like got me understanding that I need to own my own business and be my own brand. I literally watched N1 rise and fall, and he never failed because he built his own brand inside of N1. So that just taught me a whole lot of like making sure I was my own person, whatever I did.
Okay. It's completely up to you. I mean, I'm not sure if it's confidential, but who is that guy from N1 that you're mentioning?
Oh, Patrick Robinson, Pat the Rock, that's his name. Yeah, he
Pat
got his
the
own gym.
Rock.
Yeah, shout out to Pat the Rock. He got his own gym in Gaithersburg, Maryland. He's been killing it. But yeah, Pat. I used to be his little road dog, man. Any game that was on the road, man, I was sitting in the back of the car. They tell you the truth, they were actually the ones that got me in the car seriously, because that was before that was like 10th grade, before I was driving. So him and you from Baltimore, so you probably know Silk from Baltimore. Andre Poole, he's like a big basketball star in Baltimore. Super good dude, one of my brothers, man. So Silk and Pat used to have Benzes back then. Silk had one on 22s. Pat had one on 19s. They both had systems. So like I used to always ride in the back because I was the youngest guy. So I would be sitting in the back of the car trying to hold my ears and my heart at the same time. They listened to Go-Go. I didn't even like Go-Go back then. But I just, like that whole scene, that's what really kind of got me into the car game. Just watching them dudes have so much fun.
And this was what, early 2000s?
Yeah, early 2000s. This was like, I want to say 05, 06. It was like after N1 it kind of peaked out. And they were doing like a lot of local street ball runs around here. I used to be with those guys all the time.
Cool. I'm gonna just shout out a few people in here. Of course, E Vapors, other half of Cartalk TV. Darren Smith, Zamzy X, Marcus Jones, EJ, The Real Jules, Storm E, The Ledger. Yeah, few folks up in here. A lot of people coming in and out, but definitely appreciate you guys for tuning into this car talk. So, you know, I'm just walking the scene up into Wheelz by Larry, right? So, you know, you in the back seat, you watching their business, they giving you game. You know, you working at Comcast, you're into cars, and cars made you want to start your own business? Or did you want to have a business before that, and the cars, just being around car clubs made you want to get into that lane?
I would say at first I just knew I wanted a bunch of money. Like I just knew that I didn't want to have to think about whatever I was buying. Like that's what I knew. And then, like I said, being around my boy Pat, that transitioned to me knowing that I needed my own business in order to be there. And then after working for Comcast, it was like at the point it was like, man, I don't want to work for nobody else, but I know I need to in order to get to where I wanted to be. But yeah, when I first started working at shops, I knew I wanted a shop. Like the goal was never to work for somebody. Like I knew I wanted my own shop when I first started. Yeah, gotcha. And cars was just my passion. I was like literally like, bro, I live paycheck to paycheck. My car is stuck in a shop every week waiting for me to get paid so I can go pay them and get my car out the shop. Why not just do that for a living? People knew me for having a car, so I was like, I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna make it happen.
Gotcha. So you have been a business owner for how long?
I've been in business for 7 years, 6.5 years to be exact.
6.5 years, man. Congrats.
6.5 long years.
Salute to you, man. Salute to you.
Appreciate it.
Salute to you. You know, I watched you jump out there a little bit before me, and I was like, man, this I was what 30. I was 31 when I started full-time entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You had to been like about 5, 6 years older than you, so you had to been about 24, 25, 26, and I'm like, whoa, this young kid jumping out there, like, you know, he go from working at the biggest, the best shop. Like, even when I was laid off, I wanted to work at Rim Source. Like, that's how big and how bad this shop was. Like, they had everything on lock.
Still
And
are.
they still do. They still do. And, you know, you went from working at this shop to taking a leap of faith and jumping out there, as young as you were. Like, take me a little bit behind the scenes with that. Like, what was your, you know, what was your vision? What was you like, man? Look, you know, I'm gonna work at Rim Source. I'm a stack, you know, 100,000. I'm gonna stack 50,000, and then, you know, I'm just jump out on the ledge and build it all up. Like walk me through as much as you can through that mental process, through that mind frame of Larry opening up his own shop.
Yeah, so like I said, when I started, I always knew I wanted my own shop. When I got to Rim Source, it was literally like coming from high school to the league. Like anything I thought I knew, I just didn't freaking know. I had to relearn everything. And to admit, I got like caught in the light of Rim Source, man. And not that it's a bad thing, but because it's so great of a freaking shop. So I was there for about 3 years before I like had to say to myself, like, man, I really want my own shop. Like, I need to make it happen. And I called up a real estate agent. I'm like, man, I'm trying to find a building in Annapolis because it's like the center zone for all of my customers. Just want something small that I can start out at. He sent me a whole list of a bunch of buildings, and I was going to meet with him that Monday, but I went down there on a Sunday just to kind of look around and see what was out there and see what those buildings look like. And I went through the whole list, and when I got to the last building on the list, I'm like, oh, this the one. Like, I'm gonna make this my shop. I could just see the whole vision as soon as I pulled up. I literally went home and photoshopped the picture of how I wanted the shop to look, and had it on ice on Photoshop exactly how I wanted it to look, and sent out the application and everything with the real estate agent and sent it to the people. And they basically told me no. They was like, man, you don't got no money. I didn't have no like true bank records or anything. And he's like, man, there's nothing we can do. You don't have anybody backing you. Like, there's no way we can do this. So my real estate agent was like, look, man, if you really want this building, I'll go to bat for you. Like, we can definitely go to war. So I was like, all right, come on, man, whatever we got to do. So I ended up writing a letter to him and all kinds of crazy stuff saying that I was going to fix the building up and I was going to make it look really, really good. I actually sent him a picture of the Photoshop picture that I made of the building. And one person, it was a power of attorney. It was 7 attorneys that had power over the building. And one attorney stood up and they literally said this. They were like, it makes no sense for us not to give him the building if he's going to hook it up. Because worst case scenario, we'll just kick him out and we'll have a fresh building. And that's how I got the building. Wow. The problem, though, was I didn't have no money, man. It wasn't like I was saving money or nothing while I was working at Rim Source. I was still caught in the light, trying to be flashy, trying to have everything that I wanted. I had a 5 Series BMW on 4 Giottos at the time. I had my own apartment with me and my roommate. We had an apartment. And, yeah, like I said, I didn't have no money. So they told me I needed a down payment. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I literally stopped paying all my bills because I knew I was like, nothing matters right now because if I get this building, it's going to change my whole life. So I stopped paying all my bills. We got evicted from the apartment. My car got repossessed. And talking about tripping. Now that I think about it, I was crazy. But yeah, my car got repossessed. But I saved up exactly enough money to be able to get the building. So I signed my lease on the building, gave them money. I got the key. I let Kevin know. I think I gave him like a month's notice that I was going to be leaving to get my own shop. He was super happy. He's like, man, we all got our own dreams. You got to follow your dream and just go do what you want to do. So yeah, I started my shop. I didn't have nothing, man. It was nothing in my building. It was tore down. It was a rat's nest. I had one wheel in the building. It didn't even belong to me. And I had went and talked to my uncle. And my uncle seen what I was trying to do. And God bless my uncle, one of the best dudes in the world. He seen what I was trying to do, and he was like, you know what? He was like, I see what you're trying to do, and me and your aunt want to help you. And he bought my time machine and my balancer. And that's how I started. And my father, shout out to my father, too. He came in and he helped me redecorating, like clean everything up so that I could work out of it. So that's how I got the shop.
That's super dope, man. That's super dope. And you know what? Again, just to Man, that's a huge sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's a huge sacrifice to, you know, you got the apartment, you got the crazy 5 Series, like, you know, practically brand new Forgiatos, like you at the top of the chain, and risk it, and you didn't throw it all away. You risked it. You said, yo, none of that matters because I see my vision of where I'm trying to take this thing 10 to 15 years down the line. I'm going to have a bigger apartment or bigger places. I'm going to have mansions. I'm going to forget a BMW 5 Series. I might own a couple dealerships. I might own a couple BMW dealerships. Like, I'm willing to risk everything to make this dream happen. And, you know, that's huge, I think, when it comes to this world of business and when it comes to entrepreneurship. You kind of got to be crazy, bro. Because the dreams, and, you know, the dreams only sound, realistic to other dreamers. Yeah. Like, you know, me and we can have a conversation, and then I could talk to somebody else who's, you know, not too big of a dreamer or not in the entrepreneurship world, and they'd be like, "You crazy? You gonna give away? You gonna lose it all to start a business?" Yeah, Jay, you said it. Man, you bugging. But then, you know, as time progressed, they look at you like, yo, this dude really did it. Like, I see it now. I see the vision. Like, you know, I seen you in Dubai. I seen you got your own wheel line. You need to tell me a little bit about that too, because I was caught off guard. Like, hold up, Larry got his own wheels now. Like, you have your own wheel line. I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah. Well, to jump back to what you just said first, man, like Jay said it, he was like, he told his uncle I was going to sell a million records, and his uncle like, yeah, right, get out of my face. Now look, he sold a million records like a million times. So like, everybody not gonna believe you when you say your dream. Everybody can't see it, especially now. Like, when I talk to people about what I'm building now, like, I know I sound crazy to myself. So like, I can fully understand what anybody would think when they hear me say it. But that's the only way you can achieve it, is if you truly believe it. If you believe it, like, I mean, believe it, like, to the point where you gotta sound crazy. That's the only way you're ever even going to achieve it, man. A lot of these guys, if they didn't think they were going to be a billionaire, they weren't going to be a billionaire. Like, that's just the way it is. But as far as the wheel line, man, so being a shop owner and being somebody that people know for having a hooked up car, when people come to my shop, most people come to my shop, they're looking for me to help them hook their car. But a lot of people don't come and be like, this is exactly what I want. One day I was sitting in my shop, and this is when the Jay-Z and Meek Mill song, the What's Free song, came out. And I was sitting in my shop, and I'm looking at all the brands. I'm listening to Jay-Z, like 100% of Ace of Spades, 50% of Duce. And I'm looking at these brands. I'm like, man, I make these brands. I tell these brands to these people to put these brands on their car. I'm like, man, why don't I got my own wheel brand? Man, I need ownership. Like, if I can sell a set of wheels that nobody even knew before they came in here, why can't I sell my own wheels? So I was like, all right, I'm going to China. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to China. So I went home. I told my fiance at the time, I'm like, babe, I'm going to China. Like, I'm leaving tomorrow. Like, I'm about to find a flight right now, and I'm gone. And she like, no, well, I want to go with you. You don't even know where you're going. You never been over there before. So we waited like a couple of weeks. I booked a flight. We went over there, found a lady on Instagram. I did hashtag Wheel Factory on Instagram. Found a lady on Instagram, set up a meeting with her, went and sat down with her. And she pretty much laid it all out for me, like exactly how it works and how to put an order in and all that stuff. I came back. I worked with my graphic designer. I got my box made. I found out the design I wanted to do, sent everything to her. 3-4 months later, it was at the door, man. That was one of the best feelings in the world, to have that truck back up. And normally, trucks come to my shop all the time dropping off pallets of wheels. But it was like, for that truck to back up and them doors open and the logos on the box be mine, it was just a different feeling, man. And shout out to everybody that bought a set of my wheels too. We all sold out. I thought we were going to sell out the first year I got them, but they came late. We got them like right at the end of the summertime, so we didn't sell out. But 2020, right when tax season, just the springtime hit, we ended up selling out everything. So we got a couple more orders in, but yeah, shout out to everybody that purchased the set.
Dope. And what was the Dubai for?
All right,
so in Dubai.
Dubai was crazy. Actually, it wasn't Dubai. It was Riyadh. Shout out to Miles Kovac from
Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah, Saudi Arabia. Shout out to Miles Kovac from Dub Magazine. So I'm literally just at my shop working one day, and Miles calls me. He was like, "Man, have you heard about Riyadh?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "Man, I see what you're trying to do. I like it. I've been following you. I want to help you." He's like, "Man, I'm gonna send you a link. Fill this out, and sorry, Miles, if I'm not supposed to be telling this story, but he's like, I'm gonna send you a link. Fill this out, and everything's paid for. Once they accept you, you're good." So I'm like, "Whatever." Like nobody's about to pay me to go to Riyadh, bruh. Freaking, they came, they sent the link back. They was like, "You're approved. Send your logo so we can do your booth for you. Fill this UPS thing out so they come pick the pallet up." And I was like, that's when it hit me. I'm like, "Oh, this is real." Then they started asking me about the airport stuff. So basically, what they did in Riyadh was they built like the biggest car show ever. Like it's not like SEMA. It made SEMA look little. Like they had anything car related. Yeah, monster truck, the remote control cars, racing, dragging, drifting. Then we were in the exhibitors part, so I had a booth for my wheel line. But even beyond that, just being in Riyadh was crazy, man. We ended up linking with some locals. They took us out to the desert. We had a great time out there. I literally ate sheep off the floor, like on a circle plate on the ground on my knee, like no forks, no knives, just straight, just ripping the meat. All, like it was crazy, bro. But yeah, it was a great experience. Shout out to Miles for that.
Dope, man. And this is this is from the Wheelz to Dubai to now. That all transpired in the last what, 3-4 years?
Nah, last 2 years. 2 years.
Last
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
I went to January 2019, I believe, is when I went to China to start the wheel line.
Okay. So follow me on this. For the first, you've been in business for going on 7 years, right?
Yeah, 6.5 years. Yeah.
Okay. Those last 2 experiences, I know, crazy for you, crazy for your business.
Yeah.
Over the top. People obviously starting to see what you're doing, right? Yeah. Those first 3 years, those first 4 years of the grind to get to that level where people are able to see what you're doing. Talk about that hard work. Talk about those grinds, those losses. Like I didn't lost 100,000. I didn't lost 2 Bentleys. Like yeah. I didn't lost a lot, and these losses is what makes you or break you.
Yeah.
If you pass the test, you're gonna get rewarded. Obviously, I know you didn't have some downs. I mean, you don't have to get into full details, but if you want to talk about the hard work,
I tell it all, man. I told you, I'm
overbooked. Tell it, man. Tell it. Hold on. Because this is what people do not see from the millionaires and billionaires. Yeah. They don't see that hard work that goes in behind the scenes. They just see, oh man, he always had money. Well, he always was a millionaire. He was born in the money. You wasn't born in the money. You came up from the mud. So let's get into that, man. Let's get into that, because that's where the real nuggets and the real hard work of, being able to eat those seeds that you sowed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, man.
So first off, shout out my boy AC. He just jumped in here. He was actually that one wheel that was at my shop. He was probably one of my first customers to ever even deal with me as soon as I opened up my shop. So shout out to him. He just came here, Accurate Asphalt. But yeah, what I was gonna say earlier was about that whole like taking risk and like really not having. And like I said, I didn't have any money when I first started my shop. I stopped paying everything. My car got repossessed. Got evicted from my apartment. But not that material things matter, but just to show like what can happen when you do take those risks. A year later from that happening, I went from a 5 Series to a 7 Series. I went from an apartment to a townhouse that I was renting. So like just believing in yourself and knowing that you can make it happen, like that's all you need to do. But yeah, man, the first 3 years of business was crazy. I'm gonna tell you, because when you first start, you get this rush when you first start really seeing money and money coming in, especially somebody like me. I barely ever had $1,000. If I did have $1,000 to my name, it was a paycheck that was going to one of my cars to get out the shop. So when I first started getting money coming into my pocket, people were showing love, coming and shopping at the shop. Everything was good. I was getting whatever I wanted. I was living life. I thought I was on top of the world. I had my 7 Series. I got a brand new Dodge Ram. I had an Impala. Like I said, I was living on my own. And then winter of 2015, I think it was my second year in business. Winter of 2015 happened. And that was like an eye opener, man. Because the first year in business, because I wasn't doing so much in the springtime and the summertime, I was doing okay. That when the wintertime came, it wasn't that big of a drastic difference. But my second year in business, I killed it in the springtime, killed it in the summertime. I didn't realize how big of numbers I was doing compared to what the winter coming was going to be like. So when the winter came back around that year, it was a nightmare, bro. I ended up fighting to keep both of my cars, fighting. I had to get rid of the truck. Like it taught me, like, bro, don't ever jump out there too early. Don't ever think that you're doing better than what you're doing, man. And to just always plan for that rainy day, because I didn't care about a rainy day at all back then. I was just living life day to day. And it was fun though, man. Like we go to the club, pop a couple bottles, shout out my boy Rich. Like, we had a great time in those years. That's when I had my Ram. I had a 2000. That's my first Ram. I had a 2015 Ram lowered on 30-inch Forgiatos, and I had my 7 Series lowered on 24-inch Amanis at the same time with gold lips. So yeah, that was a fun time. But it taught me that, like, man, it's more to this than being just stuck into the shop, man, and grinding every single day, grinding every single day. Shout out to both of my guys that was with me at the time back then. Lance, he actually has his own tent shop now, Precision Window Tent, and Marcus. Marcus is actually running my shop right now, Samaj World. Shout out to both of them. So and my brother. My brother's been with me and down with me since day one. Shout out my brother, man. Like literally the first person I can call and just take care of everything from me. But yeah, those years, us four, just grinding, man, every single day. Yeah, my little sister was up there helping us answer the phone. And it was like, it turned into being the business that I wanted to have to being the job I wanted to have, man. I mean, the job I didn't want to have, man. And it just became overwhelming. It felt like I was going to work, just to keep paying bills. I went from working for somebody else and being paycheck to paycheck to working for myself and being day to day. And I think that's worse than being paycheck to paycheck. And about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when I first started doing my wheel line, I realized like that's not what I want to do anymore. Like I want to do something big. And the problem is a lot of people, you dream just to where you want to be. Like I knew I wanted a shop, but when I got that shop, I never thought about what was going to happen afterwards. Like that was so far ahead to me that I just never even thought that, like, okay, once I get my shop, what am I going to do next? So it became a point about 2 years ago that I really started realizing, like, man, anything I put my mind to, I can do it as long as I believe. So maybe I need to back away from the shop a little bit so that I can try to throw all my energy into something greater. I'm going to shoot so far this time, like way further than what I ever shot before. And I started working with Marcus so that he could start learning all the things that I was doing on a daily so he would be able to run the shop himself. So me and him worked together on that. It took us about a year to get him all the way ready, but shout out to Marcus, man. He handles everything now, and he pretty much runs my whole shop, and I'm out of the shop for the day to day, which frees up my mind to be able to focus on the bigger things I'm trying to do.
Dope. I gotta say, man, because you know, your mind expands, and you know, you're thinking so far ahead. Where did that mentality, where did that mindset come from? Like, you know, was it somebody that inspires you? Did you read it in a book? You know, audios? Did you have a mentor? Like, where did that mindset originate from?
So I got to shout out another one of my customers in here. Hold on, man. My boy Jorge, he been dealing with me since day one too. But that mentality came from, as far as I can remember, I was always on something different, like trying to figure something out, putting something together and all that stuff. My boy Malcolm always jokes about it. He's like, bro, you always was doing something back when we were young, running around the neighborhood, doing stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing. But I would say between my boy Pat and him encouraging me to read books, that's what changed everything. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad probably 2010, 2009. So that changed a lot. And then I just started reading heavy and heavier and heavier and heavier. And like now I read 2-3 books a month. And books, see, without knowledge, it doesn't matter how much of a genius you think you are. Like, I don't care how good you are at something. If you don't have the knowledge, you just can't go but so far, man. You're just on a treadmill running and running and running. And I realized that. I was like, the only way I'm going to go further in life if I know everything that I'm trying to do, or as much of or if I understand that I don't know everything and I need to learn as much as I can. I need to be constantly learning. So I started reading books all the time. So that's really what kind of gave me the edge that I kind of got now, is from reading. I encourage everybody that I know to like read, man. Pick up a book. It's going to change your whole perspective on life.
Yeah, knowledge is power. What's some of your favorite books? if you don't mind sharing to the listeners, the viewers that, maybe looking for that personal development, self-help books.
Yeah.
I know you dropped one, Rich Dad Poor Dad, amazing book. I done read it a couple times. Drop a couple of your favorites, if you don't mind.
Uh, the Tony Hawk book. I forget the name of it, but that's another person I look up to because Tony Hawk took an industry that was
Tony Hawk,
cool.
the skater.
Yeah, the skater. So Tony Hawk took an industry that was cool and took it to the next level and made it corporate cool. So like I really like the way he advanced the skateboard industry. So the Tony Hawk book was super cool. Mastery is a book by Robert Greene. That's super cool. What else, man? See, I read so many books, man. It's all on how I'm feeling right now. So it's a book by Peter Thiel. He's one of the PayPal's founders. He wrote a book, 0 to 1. It's about doing something that people haven't done yet. That's what I'm on right now. I mean, I'm reading Mastery right now, but that's probably one of the favorite books I've read so far.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out a couple that you just dropped. I never even heard of those books. And you talk about the founder of PayPal dropped the book. I definitely need to tune into that one.
Yeah, one of the founders, Peter Thiel, is called 0 to 1. It's a really good book.
Dope. So, as far as your space that you're in now, what's motivating you to go to that next level?
The way this industry is, man, I've been in the industry so long now, not super long. This guys has been doing it for 30, 40 years, but in the 10 years of me doing it, from sweeping floors for free to have my own shop to have my own wheel line and just kind of seeing how it is, I just kind of want to step back from everything, which is what I'm doing right now, and look at the whole industry complete and just see what type of change we can make on a grand scale of like just changing the way it is. A lot of guys that own shops, they're gonna feel me when I say this about battling these online prices and dealing with these online retailers, man. It's a nightmare. And it just shouldn't be like that because the shops run the market, man. 75% of people purchase wheels and tires from shops. Now, when you talk about audio and video and stuff like that, yeah, 50 to 60% of people just get it offline and put in their car themselves. But the learning curve for automotive wheels and tires, you got to have the equipment. If you don't got the equipment, you're not mounting and balancing a set of tires. So the majority of people purchase wheels and tires from shops. So that's what I'm working on now, man. I want to do something big that kind of like gives the power back to the retailers and the brands and allows these retailers to be able to not even compete with the online retailers, but actually thrive against them the way it should be because they maintain the most of the market. Of the people who are only controlling 24 to 25% of the market shouldn't be controlling the price, and it doesn't make sense.
Cool. Good. Give me 1 second. I need to grab a screenshot. Hey, E-Vapors, do me a favor. Grab a screenshot of this convo just so that we can snap it up and let the folks to know to tune in and check the replay out. What tips or wisdom or any gems that you can drop for the listeners, like somebody who's, possibly looking to own their own shop or become a business owner, or maybe own their own shop, trying to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Trying to get more customers, trying to create more brand awareness. You yourself as a successful business owner that you've been in business for 10 years, definitely salute to you for that. And congratulations on your success. And, you got many more years ahead of you. But with what you learned in that time frame, what can you share as far as gems, wisdom, or tips for anyone that's listening that's, maybe trying to do something better and push themselves to the limit?
Stop being scared. Know anything is possible and stop being scared. Like just stop being scared. That's the biggest thing, man. It's crazy because Will Smith had posted about jumping out of a plane and like how the first 10 seconds is like the scariest thing ever. And then after that, it's like the most serene thing, like just joy, like seeing the landscape and everything like that. So yeah, so like that first 10 seconds of jumping out, whether it's quitting your job or just starting that business, is going to be the scariest thing ever. But I promise you that after you get past that, it's going to be lovely. You're going to have some ups and downs, but I tell people the same stress that you got at work every day is going to be the same stress if you have your own business. The stress level doesn't change. You might be stressing about something different, paying payroll or something like that instead of turning in this presentation on time, but it's the same stress level. So just not being scared. A lot of people, it's crazy because a lot of people should be scared of staying in the same place that they are right now for the rest of their life, but they're more fearful of attempting to do something that's going to put them in a better position. Like, how does that sound? You're more scared of attempting to do better than what you are, staying in the same exact place you've been for the last 10 years of your life. Like, I can't make it make sense to myself. And that's what changed me. The song, it's a Jay-Z song. It's like, Can I Live? What did he say? He said, I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. It's like, if this is what I got to live for, if this is what I got to open my eyes up for every day, go to work, sweat and slave for somebody else, if this is what I got to live for, why not take the chance to have more? And that's how I thought today. Even with my shop, I love my shop. It's a beautiful shop. It does good. Shout out to all my customers. But if that's all I got to live for, I know I can do that. Like, I've done it. I've done it for 7 years. I'm not going to say I know where it's going to go, because anything can happen. But I got a feeling of where it can go if I keep pushing that and staying every day. But why not take the chance to have more? That's how I look at it. So just believe anything's possible, and be more scared about being where you're at right now 10 years from now than taking a chance to do something to put you in a better spot.
Speaking of 10 years, where you see yourself in 10 years, Larry?
Man.
Don't give us everything. Just give us a little bit. Cause I know you're gonna be mogul status, man. You're gonna be mogul status in 10 years.
10 years, man. To keep it honest, man, and to be. I know you said you got to believe it, bro. You got to believe it so deep, man. In 10 years, I want to be the face of the industry, man. Yeah, I'm trying to, face of the industry, man. One of the richest people in America. Yeah. There's no more. I honestly, just being 100% honest, I'm not going for, there's no more millionaire talk or anything like that. I feel like the world and the global economy and everything, and even in America, is coming to a point, you're going to start seeing it in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be a whole lot more billionaires. It's kind of like when you went from having 6 figures back in the whatever years, the 80s or the 70s, whatever it was, to millionaire. You got to remember, at one point, being a millionaire was crazy. So I feel like it's about to be a change where it's like a whole lot more people being billionaires. And I know that's crazy. It's probably only things like 2,800 billionaires in the freaking world. But I feel like it's a change coming where it's going to start to be more billionaires. So yeah, the talk is $1 billion now, man. If the numbers don't add up to $1 billion on the projection sheet, we gotta change the business model.
We lagging a little bit, but I think we're good. You know how Instagram be.
Yeah.
So let's shift it back to calls, because we got only a few minutes left. First call. What was your first call, Larry? First call ever had?
First call I ever had was a Chevy Prism. I flipped it.
A Chevy Prism. You say you flipped it over?
Yeah, I think I was going to church one day or something. I went around the corner and hit a tree and flipped it over. That was my first car. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Well, glad you're good, man.
Yeah.
All right, so right now you got a couple crazy whips. I know one of the whips is the new CLS on your wheels. You got your own wheels on there. You got to promote yourself, obviously. Dream car. What's your dream car? Like, what's like as of now? Obviously, dream cars change all the time. For you right now today, what's your dream car and why?
I don't have no. Honest to God, I don't have no dream car, man. I mean, I know the next car that I'm gonna get is gonna be a Lamborghini. Like, I'm not getting nothing else. I might get like a truck or something like that, just to have like a work truck. But I'm not jumping out there and getting no cars. That's why, man, I'm gonna be Lambo Larry for a little while.
Lambo Larry. I like that.
That's kind of what I want my next car. But that might change. Just depends. But I don't have a dream car, because I like the way I buy my cars. I learned from the best, man. Kevin, shout out to Kevin again. The way I buy my cars is, man, I look for like the new body of what's dropping. To be able to get that and then put the wheels on that before anybody else even has that car. And be able to post that picture, or just be able to stunt around town with the car that nobody else has. That's what I like. I remember when I got my Ram. I got the new Ram. I got it right off the train. Like, as soon as they brought off the train, a 2019 Ram. And I put 30s on it, 30-inch Forgiatos on it. And one of the guys from the Ram factory, one of the managers of the factory, ended up following me and hitting me, DMing me on Instagram, just showing me love for my car. So I thought that was cool. And then even like my CLS, like a lot of people didn't even know that the CLS was a new body style when I got it. And I literally got that just so I could put my own wheels on it, because I needed something to promote my wheels on. I couldn't drop it on nobody else's car. I had to do it on my own.
Man, you just dropped on me a good nugget for marketing.
That was probably the best game right there for shop owners, of people who's into like cars. I'm not even gonna repeat it because if you do that formula, that's what kind of pushes you ahead.
Yeah. And you see what transpired out of that.
Yeah.
Huge, man. Huge, man. Last remarks, Larry. Any last remarks? We got about a couple more minutes on here.
Man, just shout out to everybody who's been here listening. I appreciate it, man. Hope everybody just continues to follow the journey, man. It's nothing touches my heart more than when people like you, bro. Like, shout out to you because if it wasn't for the Baltimore car club scene that you helped start and you were a big participant of it, like, I wouldn't even be here today because the car club scene gave me a platform that I never had before. I was always the dude that had the nice car, but I was never like the cool dude or nothing like that. That car club scene, Baltimore as a whole, man, just riding through the hoods and seeing that, it was different for me. I wasn't from there. So yeah, shout out to that. That definitely changed my whole life, man. Just being up there, even though it got me put out of college. I definitely appreciate that, man. But yeah, I just want everybody, if there's one thing my story can do is just inspire everybody. Like, it don't matter where you come from, it don't matter what situation you're in, it don't matter what your bank account look like right now. If you want something and you go out there and really just strive to achieve it and believe it, like that anything is possible, that it's just gonna happen. It's nothing that you can do, man. My boy Pat says it the best. It's like it's just the tip of the iceberg. Like every day is gonna get better and better and better and better as long as you work towards it and believe that it's possible.
Dope, man. Dope. And you did not come for money.
No.
Yeah. So a lot of you did. You thought you did though. Like, man, this rich boy from Annapolis got all the money, daddy's money, parents' money.
Heck no. I wish, man. Yeah, no freaking I can remember being in the car club scene, man. I felt like I couldn't get the respect that I wanted, like, because everybody really thought that because I was from down the road that I came from money. My parents was helping me build my car. Nah, I was paycheck. I was so broke, credit so messed up, credit horrible, everything, because I was living paycheck to paycheck, car getting stuck in the shop. Like, nah, I definitely wasn't. Now I was sleeping on man, I'll tell you one thing. When I first started my shop, I was sleeping in my shop and on my mother's couch, bro. Like, I slept in my shop multiple months. And I don't want to say that I came from the dirt, the bottom, because people really come from the dirt. I was a little bit, I call it blessed because I was able to see a lot of different cultures when I was young. My mother, she did whatever she had to do to make sure that me and my brother had a meal on the table, man. So living with my mother, we grew up in a one-bedroom apartment. But then on the flip side, my father, my stepmother, I don't even like calling her my stepmother because she's been in my life as long as I can remember. But they always did really good for themselves. So I kind of had like the best of both worlds of being able to see what it's like to struggle every day and then see what it's like to not have to struggle. But because I lived with my mother for the majority of my life, like I grew up in that struggle kind of environment. So yeah, I definitely, yeah. It's not what everybody used to think. They used to say it at the car club. I'm like, I ain't gonna tell y'all I'm not. Like, if that's what y'all want to believe it. But yeah, no, I definitely wasn't that.
Cool. Hey, J-Rock, yeah, hit him up. Hit his company up, man. They'll take care of you. I'm just looking at the stuff from the chat. Man, getting a lot of love, man. Thanks for everybody for joining in. Jules said best interview ever. Appreciate that. Vapors, dope rims. Keep selling rims out. Who got the rims, bro? Pelon BP 301.
He bought my 30s. That's my boy. That's my boy Jorge. One of my best cousins.
Dope, man. You know, one last shout out to everybody who ain't in the chat. Yeah. Anthony Hampton, Zam ZX, EJ, J-Rock, Louise Mackle. I might have pronounced that incorrectly. My apologies.
Mackle, that's my fault.
Dilliger, Storm E. We got Ian up in here. We got Mr. Trinke Jinx. We got Light, the Knights, Leds, Maryland. We got a bunch of folks in here, man. There was a lot of people coming in and out. I definitely appreciate everybody tuning into this one. This is going to be a great interview that you guys want to tune back into because we're going to upload it on YouTube. And man, follow Wheelz by Larry. I'm telling you, this boy, he got some crazy stuff in the making. I mean, stuff that I'm like, I'm trying. I'm trying to listen on, like, man, I need to eavesdrop. I need to be a fly on the wall when you go in those rooms, man. I need to. I ain't gonna say it all, but pay attention to what he's doing. Pay attention to his brand. Support his brand. And, you know, if you guys want that crazy look on his wheels, he got his own wheel line, Wheelz by Larry, which is incredible and amazing. You know, brother, I just want to thank you again for jumping on and being a part of our journey with Cartalk TV. Again, you know, one of our main goals is to expose to the culture and really just everybody in the car world and business world, you know, owners, car enthusiasts who, you know, made something out of nothing, you know, just to really inspire others, man. Follow him, Wheelz by Larry, Wheelz Annapolis. You guys tune in to Cartalk TV. I'm the host today, Carl Sherrell. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. And next Sunday, we got another guest on. And the following Sundays, we got more people to come. So definitely tune in every Sunday. We're going to try to do it at 5. Depending on the people whose schedules that we have on, it might be, you know, another day, another time. But, you know, as long as you following the channel and following the page, you guys will know. Any last remarks? Any last remarks, Larry?
No, that's it, man. Just thank everybody for being in here, man, and listening to my story. That's it.
Yeah, the story's incredible, man. Keep pushing, keep going. I'm definitely root for you. And remember, anything is possible. Check out now.
All right, bro.
Yes, sir.